Hey there gang, hope you're having a good day out here. Kawaii50 with another video for you, and I'm gonna try something a little different today, and we'll see how it goes. So I actually find it quite fascinating to track and check out the revenue of different gacha games. You know, see how different games are doing, see how they're doing on different servers, you know, what's working well, what's a game I should probably consider dumping right now because it looks like it's on its way out, because I play a lot of gacha games, a lot of gacha games. I think I've got like 5 on my phone right now. So hopefully this video is just as interesting to you as it is to me. If it is, please go ahead, like and subscribe, because that would really help me out. And you might be asking yourself, where am I getting this data? Well, I am getting this data from the Sensor Tower monthly revenue report that is posted to our Gacha Gaming every single month, and also from a website that I think is super interesting called GachaRevenue.com. Now, they did not ask me to do this at all. I am just doing this of my own volition because I think the site is really cool and provides a bunch of interesting data. So I will post a link to the main Reddit post as well as a link to Gacha Revenue as well if you want to go ahead, check that out, search games that you might be interested in, and, you know, give the site a shake. It deserves it. It's honestly a lot of really interesting data. Now that we've got all the introductions out of the way and all the disclaimers, let's go ahead and take a peek at how games went in October of this year. Alright, kicking off from the top, because I know that's what you want to see first, let's take a look at the continued dominance of MiHoYo on the gacha game market. Honkai Star Rail still has made the absolute most money of any gacha game on this list, and for good reason. Now, I know I don't post a lot of content for it on the channel, because things like guides and stuff like that don't really seem to be super in demand. Maybe I'll try something different in the future, but Star Rail is probably my most played gacha after Fate Grand Order. I absolutely adore the game, I adore the characters, and I definitely contributed to this revenue by attempting to summon Jinglu, which I got along with her light cone. So I am now a filthy Jinglu main, and let me tell you, that money was well spent because she is an absolute legend. Right below that is Genshin Impact. No surprise there. Genshin still continues to do really well. I feel like this has to do with the tail end of September as well as the mid-October banners that Genshin got there. Neuvillette was, of course, the Hydro character that they got at the end of September, and following that is the super cool looking Ryothusly. Now, Ryothusly is probably one of my favorite designs to come out of Genshin in a very long time. Even though I don't play the game anymore, I went and checked out some of his animations, and wow, really neat, really cool looking character. Cannot deny that. Uma Musume continues to be a dominant force, even with a massive revenue dip from 37 million in September to 19 million now. Uma Musume just cannot and will not be stopped. FGO, of course, hit a dip as well on JP, going from 20 to 14 million, but you know, FGO, what are you gonna do? A lot of the events that we ended up having in October were reruns, and a lot of free characters were the absolute draw of the month. So makes sense that FGO dipped a little bit, however, it still ended up holding strong with some of those rerun characters. Nikke saw a huge dip, but still ended up being in the top 5 games for the month of October. And I mean, September, they had the Nier collab. So you're not really going to beat a Nier collab every single time a game seems to have a Nier collab. It absolutely crushes, Nikke being no exception. Now, let's go ahead and get out of the top 5 and look at some other games. I'm going to be a little more cursory in things that aren't the top 5, just because, you know, we don't want the video to be 800 years long. Looking down at the next little bits, Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage is still doing well, and Blue Archive's fan base is still going strong, sinking money into a game that honestly deserves a lot of support, even if it's not for me. The ads for Summoner's War continue to work. People are still playing that game, and Memento Mori is making a solid 7 mil. Dragon Ball Legends following that up, being really interesting, hitting the exact same 7 million mark. Things are just enticing as they ever were before. Going below that, the interesting thing here is Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle down 6 places from 22 million only to 6 million. I went and did some digging because, huge drops like that are really of interest to me, and I kind of wanted to see, what might have caused Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle to drop. And of course, in September, they dropped a bunch of legendary characters. We had a crazy good Super Saiyan Trunks, and we also had a dual Dokkan Festival for a dual Vegeta and a Zamasu, but it really seems like the Super Saiyan Trunks and the future Gohan were the main things that were driving Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle during that month. Now, let's go ahead and pop down below Dokkan Battle to see games that are still making a decent amount of money, but are not the absolute titans that we have seen before. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, one of the games that I play actually. I'm kind of falling out of it a little bit right now. I've kind of done most of the things I need to do, just checking into it occasionally. That dropped from 8 million to 6 million. I mean, we just recently had the game released. There's going to be a little bit of a dip, but the Sephiroth release is still keeping the game going strong. And the Halloween costumes the game has right now look pretty dang neat. I'm a huge fan of those. Heaven Burns Red sitting at around 6 to 5 mil, and JP Dokkan Battle hitting another dump as well. Ensemble Stars, can't really say much there. I honestly don't even know what that is, but it's doing well. And One Piece Bounty Rush continuing to make the big One Piece bucks. Next, a thing I know about, Global Fate Grand Order dropping from 8 million to 4 million. And I actually know why, because summer. Yep, summer was late this year, but there were a lot of summer banners in September. You just absolutely cannot compete with summer in FGO. Once that goes away, you're gonna see a revenue dip no matter what. Going below that, we have One Piece Treasure Cruise still continuing to cling to life. This game has been out for forever. It reminds me a little of Naruto Blazing Storm in its longevity, and I hope it continues well throughout the end of One Piece. And let's look at some other middling stuff we got here. I'm gonna stop going into each one individually and just, touch on things that I think are interesting. Remember, this video is a new thing I'm doing. It's a work in progress. Ever Crisis on Global, because yes, JP and Global are different. Still hitting a solid 2 million over there. It's still a really good Final Fantasy gacha game in terms of, the revenue that it's making. But, we're not gonna hop on that Sephiroth hype train as much as Japan for some reason. Surprising, I know. Arknights JP ended up getting a surprising dip, but I mean, it's going to bounce back. It is Arknights. Same goes for Blue Archive on Global. Global still has a dedicated fan base, not nearly as dedicated as JP in terms of revenue, but it doesn't matter. Blue Archive is still getting love, and I don't see that game going anywhere anytime soon. Nice, interesting thing here is the JP version of Dragon Ball Legends being down so much in comparison to Global. I never really realized that Dragon Ball Legends was far more popular on Global than it is just on the JP server. But I mean, what do I know? And you can pause the video to look at some of that other stuff, because we are going to go down here near the end of the list and check out some other surprising things. This surprising thing here is the Octopath Traveler gacha game. Jumped up from $300,000 to 1.1 mil, popping up 19 spots on the list. And according to our Gacha Revenue, this is the biggest revenue increase of any game compared to last month. So Octopath JP starting to run up there. I don't really see Octopath Global really hitting the same mark. A couple of other games are still going strong. Of course, Precon Redive exists on JP, not so much the case here. Let's go ahead and head down a little more and check out this portion here, a game that I actually play, Mobile Suit Gundam UC N-Gage. What is UC N-Gage? Gundam Auto Battler. I sunk money into it because it was Gundam and because, you know, I was trying to get the Nightingale this month and I mercilessly failed. However, that is not necessarily representative of this previous revenue. This previous revenue is likely because of the Unicorn new type destroy that they had up as an event banner. And of course, all of those start dash banners they had going there where you had a doubled UR rate for the first 72 hours. So I gotta say, pretty solid showing for Gundam UC N-Gage being a brand new game, it making at least as much as Tower of Fantasy. I'm interested to see where things go beyond this. And now we're starting to get down near the end of the list. There's Octopath Traveler right there, sitting at 3 to 200,000, just not nearly as popular here on NA. And let's go ahead and chuck our way down to the bottom. Now remember, there are other games that didn't end up making the list, but let's see what we can glean here from the bottom. Girls Frontline and NeuroCloud on top of that, still existing. Those are games where you don't really have to worry about the revenue. Those games are just never going to go away. They are labors of love. Higan Eruthil actually making a little bit of extra money near the bottom of the list. I was surprised. I thought this game was going to do better considering all of the hype it ended up getting in the beginning, but maybe some Eruthil fans can let me know down in the comments section why Eruthil is starting to pop up at least a little bit on this month, and Artery Gear JP sitting at dead last. So there you go. That is a look at your Gacha revenue report for the month. If you want to go ahead and check out some more detailed stuff, specifically see the list, maybe check out some other games that weren't showing up here on our Gacha revenue, you can totally go ahead and do that. Our Gacha revenue. Our Gacha Gaming is where the picture was posted. GachaRevenue.com is where you can look up all the stuff individually. So go ahead and do that if you found this as interesting as I did. Let me know what Gacha games you might play on this list, and if you ended up contributing to their overall revenue. I'd definitely like to know, because I shared the money I spent with you, so you can share the money you spent with me. Anyways, gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you have a phenomenal day, and I'll see ya in the next one.